Yeah, hello guys, so here's the video for the BSA Bantam 1959 Super. So just managed to get the thing started, which is excellent. So to do a lot of work, you know, I mean there was a lot of work and a lot of time on it, spent on it, etc. You know, just an example, you know, lots of cleaning, everything to get everything freed in movement and moving. New chain, new clutch cable, new accelerator cable. New gasket seal around here, obviously drain out all the old oil, clean it, replace the oil, drain out the oil in the other part of the engine, which was the residue left over from, say, from the 80s, for example, 70s, 80s, you know, of the mixture of the oil and the, you know, when the vapour had burned off, there's a load of oil in there, drained all that out by the little plug at the bottom, rebuilt the carburetor a number of times, cleaned out the fuel tank, new fuel pipe, brand new fuel filter as well, of course. Here there's also a fuel filter, of course, inside the carburetor itself, which is easy to get to, but there's another one there, so then the owner can see all the dirt and debris and it doesn't even get into the carburetor in the first place. It's much better. New spark plug, of course, the correct one, because the old one that was in there was just was completely the wrong one, like a long reach one just for a random vehicle. Tyres still need to be done at some point. Got a mixture of so the petrol oil in here, so I think that I mixed this too much. I basically followed the guidelines, you know, which is on here, which is 2 of these for a gallon, which equated to something like a quarter of this for a pint, I think it was, something along those lines. I did do it correctly. But it's a bit too oily, but obviously these bikes, you know, it's been sat since 1980, does need to be run, does need to be heated up, burn off all the crap. Everyone says, you know, you need to run up and down the road for a number of miles just to clear all the crap through. So yeah, but now I've sort of read up more about oil. It looks like we can go a lot with modern oils. You can go a lot different on the mix. I think it was 33 to 1. So yeah, that needs double checking, but ultimately we can go a bit less oil and for that quantity of petrol. Cleaned all this up, adjusted all the timing, adjusted all the points, adjusted all the cams. Problem with that there was from the cam that knocks the points on and off. Reheat shrinked all of the wire, well, most of the wiring in there, because the heat shrink was just dead. Fixed up the brake light, cleaned out the bulbs. Bulbs in there didn't need to do much, and I know that they work now. So obviously new clutch cable. New battery, fixed all the electronics in there, because that was shocking. Cut off switch here for the battery, not for the engine. So to stall the engine, you can either turn the fuel off, but and obviously I'd run the carburetor out of fuel, which you can do if you're planning on leaving it for ages. I would do that technique there, close that off, run it out of fuel in here. But if you were to be, say, using this regularly, you'd just stall it. You just stick it into first gear and gently let the clutch out, and it would just stall super easy. And then obviously got new rectifier bits and pieces in there, so that's fine. So a key part of this is the starting aspect. So you don't need to have the battery on. The battery is basically on to power. So it will charge up to power like the brake lights and the side lights, I think it was, when it's parked, and for the horn as well. So you find if you don't have the battery on, the horn will go, but work quite right. Just information. Now starting these is incredibly important, because if you flood these, you know, there's no point keeping kicking it over. You just flood it even more. So I'm not an expert on this. This is just what my dad said and what people have said to me. So you get a few goes to start it. If you cock it up, you need to leave it, or take the spark plug out. Super easy, and you'll find it be oily. Clean it up, clean it with a carburetor cleaner, that sort of just put it in 5 minutes later and it'll probably fire up again. Cool. So the starting technique for this is I might just stick the battery on whilst I'm at it, pull on the fuel, so it comes down to fuel, press the tickler button here, and it's still being rebuilt, if you can see that or not. I'm just monitoring it until fuel comes out, which is just done then. I know it's not in gear. Get a bit of throttle if you need to. Oh, actually, you can close the I mean, I don't know how well this video is going to come out yet, close the carburetor, strangle it. That. Open it straight away. Open it straight away. There we go. And so this will idle. Because obviously keeping it going until it started, and as it's only been started twice. So 3 times now, briefly, since 1980. So that literally, once that's just going for a minute, that will idle very nice. Yeah, so I'll just cut it off a second. And there we go. So it's all good. You've got the horn on here, horn on there. And so you've got the brake light as well, which obviously works with the power on. And it's very good. And I say, if you ride it around the garden literally for a minute, that will idle absolutely fine. You can obviously alter the idle on here as well. On this, well, there's 2 different screws here, but ultimately you can adjust the idle on this one here, so that determines how far open the slider is here, how much air is let in on idle, and then there's another screw of the petrol ratio as well. So yeah, there we go. So in a minute I'm going to start this up again, have a few goes around the garden, and then that's it, because I think I can't really pollute my neighbours out too much, you know, with this. And also I can't ride it on the road because the tyres are dead and it's obviously not insured, not legal and all that. But I think really it just needs new tyres, and just give it a good old bash up and down the road for 25 minutes, half hour, whatever, clear out all the stuff, and it should then also probably just alter the oil ratio down to that recommended modern 33 to 1, I believe it was. So that's really important as well. So yeah, it's looking really good, really beautiful bike, and excellent. Thank you, cheers.